Welcome to Web Vibes Only. So happy to be here and actually kind of excited about this brand new development that has happened in Angular's ecospace. I'm Keith Azid and with me I have Kyler Johnson. How's it going, Kyler?
Hey, it's going great. I like the intro. It's a little bit of ambiguity.
It is the biggest announcement that we've heard ever since probably Ivy was a thing with Angular. So the one and only and one of the biggest Angular conferences, the one and only in the United States and one of the biggest Angular conferences on this planet, ng-conf, shared this tweet with us, which basically announced that ng-conf is no more. They are ending ng-conf effective immediately. If you try to go to ng-conf.org, that was their domain name. Doesn't take you anywhere, no longer exists, which was kind of heartbreaking because not only could you see the year of ng-conf, but they had an archive for all the other years where you could look at previous ng-confs and the photos and the speakers and the talks, and just all the fun was captured. The whole vibe of ng-conf was captured brilliantly on that one website that no longer exists. But their Twitter, Blue Sky, or Medium accounts still exist because they're kind of pivoting from being an Angular focused conference to an AI focused conference, I guess, because they're renaming their conference to be AI-DevCraft.
Yeah, it is a sad day, the death of ng-conf. We're gathered here today to celebrate the life of ng-conf and what it was, and to, I guess, remember it. It's hard to believe that I'm wearing the shirt from the very last ng-conf ever.
Oh, I know. I was there too. And that's one of the many, many things that I think the Angular community enjoyed about ng-conf is to be able to gather at one place for 3 days, nerd out with other Angular nerds, and just have a blast, not just attending the conference, but having all these hallway talks or catching up with people you probably only see once a year at this conference. To be clear, the conference will still take place under a new name at a new place with a new direction. So they did a follow-up tweet about why they renamed it or why they're changing the direction from ng-conf to AI-DevCraft. And they're not wrong about capturing the essence of what's really happening, that AI is changing the center of gravity here of our software industry, and not just of the planet. But at least not yet. But the important things like the craft, the taste, the experience, which is what we humans bring to software development, those are very, very high, at least yet, to be replicated or captured by AI. And those still matter. I know, at least personally for me, it is such a turn off if I look at a website or look at something and it's just very clearly, even AI code, if I just look at code that has no soul in it, as in just carved out by AI, it does not bring me joy. AI-DevCraft is not about replacing developers. It's about helping developers lead in what's next.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. There's a lot to say on this topic, and it's easy to segue into a lot of other things. I know that this kind of transformation is kind of forward looking into, the impacts of AI on our space. This might be a little bit of a hot take, but AI is not good enough yet for us to forget that frameworks exist and why they exist. There are different architectural paradigms. And if you and your team are not familiar with a certain tech, it's really hard to prompt AI well enough to generate good code. And if you don't generate good code, AI is going to struggle with changing the existing code that it generated. And, forever since the dawn of this industry, creating applications was not the expensive part of what we do, right? The expensive part is maintaining it. And I think that's still true in the AI space, especially as the cost of tokens are going up. If the code you generate is not that good, the architecture you chose is not that good, then the amount of tokens you're going to consume to change that code, prompt AI well enough to change that code to create your desired effect, that the cost associated with that is going to go way up. Whereas if your team understands the technology you're using well enough that you're able to prompt AI good enough to generate good code and catch the things that are bad and keep that out of your code base, then the amount of tokens you're going to spend maintaining that or changing that in the future is going to go way down. So that old adage, building software is cheap, maintaining it is expensive, it still rings true in the AI era, maybe more so than ever. And I think that's something people need to be careful of. So frameworks still matter, at least right now. And for the foreseeable future, the framework and technology choice still matters. Whether or not the team working on it understands the technology and framework, it still matters. I hate to see ng-conf go away. That was my favorite conference. I'm also a glass half full type person. It is what it is. This new thing is coming. I do like the way it's called DevCraft because I do still think that the craft of a developer is still important. I still hope that we can look into how we take the knowledge we have about our technologies and frameworks and ensure that AI is maintaining high quality code. We shouldn't look at it as if AI is replacing us. It's just another tool, a revolutionary tool. But, you know, there are still blog articles on the internet that are talking about when IDEs became a thing. People were like, oh, your ability to think in detail is going to go away because you're relying too much on that IDE to do the work for you.
Yeah. Even before AI or Copilot and all those tools brought autocomplete in our life, we had some level of intelligence with our IDEs, and people who shifted from writing HTML in notepads or Sublimes then started using IDEs where they could generate so many things. And then we had all these schematics and all these other things that would auto generate at least some configuration or some setup for us. So this is now a very, very advanced level of add-on to our toolkit that we had compared to earlier. But it does not mean that the skill itself is dead. It probably means that more people are now able to at least enter this field because the entry bar is so low that the first primary language is now English, unfortunately or fortunately for many people. But it also doesn't mean that you don't need to know the basics. So it really depends on how you see this. Yes, it is unfortunate that Angular is now the only major framework that does not have a framework specific conference in the United States. If you want to attend an Angular specific conference, you have to go. If you're living in the United States, you have to go overseas to find one and attend one. So yes, that is kind of heartbreaking. However, it's not a true reflection of where Angular as a framework is, because now more than ever, it is a stronger framework that is more in tune with its developers. It is more in tune with what the latest trends in the JavaScript ecosystems are. It's pioneering signals, bringing signals into just TypeScript as a native. What's the word for it?
You have me blanking on it now too.
Primitive, like a primitive in TypeScript.
Yeah.
And also it has Angular AI, so many tools that you can use to build with AI and build an Angular app for AI, that it makes super easy to use AI with it. So in a way, I think it is a natural pivot that the organizers of ng-conf are making. However, it is interesting that they are the ones who made it, and we still have a React and a Vue and all these other conferences. But it actually, a few more things are interesting. The biggest thing is that they're having this conference in Vegas now as opposed to Salt Lake City. So last year ng-conf was in Maryland because they had collaborated with JSConf, and it was a 2-in-1 conference. But this year they are doing their own thing. If you take a look at the organizers page, the people who have been for all these years running ng-conf is the same people leading it and organizing it. It's a big change to change it from Salt Lake City or Maryland to Vegas, which in the US is a much more accessible city than Salt Lake City or Maryland were. However, at least the hotel where they're having it is not on the main strip, it's on off strip. The main strip is where all the casinos are. If you've never been to Vegas, it's a very different vibe, a very different environment. But because there are so many hotel resorts there, that have big conference halls. A lot of companies, for example, Google has Google Cloud Next in Vegas, AWS reInvent is in Vegas, because there are like tens, thousands of people who attend those conferences. So they need to be able to support or have a place that can support so many attendees. But yeah, I don't know. First time for AI-DevCraft, what would the community be like? Because for ng-conf, you knew always that your Angular community would be there. This is going to be a very mixed space with people from all over, I suppose.
I like some of the things you brought up here about the accessibility of Vegas. That airport is a lot busier, a lot more flights going in and out. You have a lot more flexibility in terms of how you're going to get to the conference than you did in Salt Lake City or last year in Maryland. I did love the venue in Chesapeake Bay for ng-conf last year. It was an awesome venue. It was definitely not the most convenient in terms of travel. The people who are organizing they're the same people, and they've always done a great job. So I'm confident that this conference will be a hit. It'll be well run, and I'm looking forward to getting the chance to go. Whether or not they are able to capitalize on the Angular crowd I think is going to depend a lot on the selected speakers.
Yeah, I don't think people would be jumping on buying the tickets, but it would depend on who ends up speaking at this conference and how excited people are for it. Because almost at every other conference that I'm seeing, people are interested in learning how can we AI. So no matter what frameworks, I think this is an interesting pivot. And we may or may not join for this one, but we're definitely keeping our eyes peeled and our ears open to see where this is headed and what shape it takes. Having said that, I think ng-conf will always forever live in our hearts as a very special conference that we used to cherish. So many memories and so many great opportunities that we've had there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Another thing to note, the AI-DevCraft call for papers, the CFP, is open until August 1st. So if anyone is interested in speaking at this conference, have something you want to speak about, you don't have a lot of time left. So
Yeah.
go ahead and get those submissions in and see if you can have your travel covered.
Yep, absolutely. It's a great way to attend a conference, to speak at it. All right, people. That was all we had to say about this. Until next time, take care.